Its share price has recently moved to infinity and beyond, but just how much upside is left for Virgin Galactic holdings? Hello, my name's David Jones. I've been a technical analyst in financial markets for almost 25 years now, and this is our channel dedicated to US stocks. I thought we'd have a look at something of a hot stock that has been moving incredibly this year. It's even outpaced the performance of Tesla, and that's Richard Branson's company, Virgin Galactic Holdings, the space exploration and space travel company. It's another one where the shares have gone ballistic. So in this video, we'll have a quick catch up of what's been happening over recent weeks. I'll talk a bit more about what's driving it and the big levels to watch. Then we'll jump back and look at the chart in a lot more detail. As usual, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, if you can subscribe, support the channel, and we'll push out a couple of videos a week on interesting US stocks. Let's catch up with the movements in the share price.
So here's a quick look at the price, and you can see why there's been so much excitement really this year. It came in to 2020, Virgin Galactic trading around $12 a share, and yesterday it touched $38 a share. Massive swing around yesterday, massive volatility. So I'll talk a bit more about why we're seeing investors getting so excited about this. We'll come back and look at things in a bit more detail, but clearly a cracking trend since December last year.
So let's talk about some of the things driving it, then we'll go back onto the chart. So it only came to the market in October 2019. So we're less than, 6 months into its public trading life. Since then, though, the share price has gone up more than threefold. So after an initial wobble, when it debuted, we've just seen the share price take off. I think one of the things driving it's one of the few publicly tradable bets out there that let you have some exposure to space travel. I think there was an analyst this week saying he's a fan of the stock. Maybe it's got a bit out of hand, but there's nowhere else to put your money if you're looking for a publicly traded stock to have some exposure to the sector. There is, of course, something of a space race going on at the moment between Richard Branson, Elon Musk, and Jeff Bezos of Amazon. So it's a really high-profile business. There's a lot of investor interest. There was interest on Friday where it moved a spacecraft to its operating base in New Mexico, with some investors thinking this was the next stage along actually getting out there into space. From a financial point of view, the company is expected to lose money this year and into 2021. As it only came to the market in October, the first set of results since it became available as a publicly traded share are due out at the end of February. So I think they're going to be really closely watched. Let's talk about some of the levels to watch. Because the share price has gone parabolic, when it comes to higher levels, we're really just picking psychological numbers out of the sky. But at the time of recording, 18th of February was when the all-time high was set. It was an incredibly volatile day. The share traded as high as 38.60 and traded as low as 28.75 in one day. So this is massive volatility. So that's the all-time high. At the time of recording, that's the obvious hurdle. Then on the downside, I think the next major low, if we look at this trend that's been in place, this sharp trend that's been in place, is down around 22.70. But let's jump back onto the chart and take a look at this in a bit more detail, see if we can make any sense of it and where the opportunity might be.
So the first day of trading was the 29th of October. And I must admit, I wasn't surprised when we didn't see that much investor interest. We did see them tail off. They were trading, where was it, around about $11, $12 a share. But into November, they'd slipped and they traded down to around about $7 a share. And I must admit, I did think at the time, is this just something of a fluff share? We're never going to see it gain that much traction. But of course, this has all changed since December. Let's pick up on this trend. We can't really argue with a trend like this. Okay, we haven't got perhaps 3 touches on the trend line, but I'd classify that move towards the end of January as really the third touch, before the share price then went on to double in fairly short order. We've got a 20-day moving average on here. It's doing a pretty good job of supporting the price, even actually over the last week or so where it's really accelerated. The 20-day moving average is sitting behind it, currently sitting around about $20 a share. Not surprisingly, we've got a 10-day RSI down here. It's been pretty oversold for pretty much the last couple of months, since the share price was around about $10 a share. And this is the problem with these sort of indicators. When we have a really strong move in the market, up or down, these things will move to an extreme very quickly. So I don't think we're really getting that much from the RSI. So what can we say about Virgin Galactic? I think I'm always reluctant to try and chase this sort of momentum. And I do wonder if that $10 swing we saw the previous day at the time of recording, the shares travel through $10 on the day, is that maybe of a pause at the very least, something of an exhaustion, the last bit of exhaustion buying going on before we have perhaps a correction. And I think this is the better opportunity, I think, clearly here. Let's flip this over to an hourly chart. So we've still got that trend line coming in, but now, of course, that moving average is a 20-hour moving average. And I wonder, I always want to try and be patient and have a good balance of risk versus reward. If we do see the price under a bit of pressure from here, if we do see it clearly on the way up, third week of Jan, $20, and into early Feb, $20 was something of a ceiling for the share price. If we did see it under, it's quite a bit of pressure from where it is now. It'd be a 30% drop from where it is now. I think that's one area to watch. Then we have these various support levels coming in. If we pick up on this more accelerated trend, it's probably not a million miles away from where the moving average is. This 20-hour moving average now around about $28. Let's just put a trend line on there. There we go. So there's our more accelerated trend coming in at the moment, roughly around $24 a share. And I think, again, this is a sort of an area that has been a cluster of support. We have the old highs from the 11th of Feb. The market broke out. That was $22 a share. Pulls back a bit after the breakout here, back to about $22.70. That's a bit of support, and then again a bit more support coming in around about 23. So I think 22 to 24 is a good area of support. For me, if we did see it under more pressure from here, that's the better entry point. I suppose if you want to be really aggressive and just be a buyer, try and jump onto the next bit of momentum, it would be a move above the previous day's high, which is still about $8 away from where we're trading now, with a stop loss under the low for the day, which is about $28, $28.75 to be accurate. So that's a pretty wide stop, though, in trying to catch the next bit of momentum for the share. So for me, the better setup would be a bit more weakness from here. Then we have a couple of days where it stabilizes and the buyers come back in. But for now, you can't argue with that trend. It's been an incredible performer, outperformed Tesla this year. And I think it's only if we start to lose this 22 to 24 area of support does it look like this trend is over. But I'd rather be a buyer on dips and see if things calm down a bit from here.
Those results on the 25th of February are going to be very interesting. We'll come back and see how the share price has performed. But from this update, we'll leave things there. So from me, David Jones, good luck with your investing and trading.